You're watching Eswatini TV, bringing you news at 10. I am Notile Sitole, alongside Namakabiso Ngabule. First, the headlines. His Majesty King Mswati III says it is gratifying to see developmental projects occurring in communities. Honorable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini has returned from the United States of America, where he represented His Majesty King Mswati III at the UN General Assembly. Minister of ICT, Senator Savannah Mazia, says it is imperative to ensure the security of the country's digital landscape while pursuing initiatives that accelerate economic development. And now the news in detail. His Majesty King Mswati III says it is gratifying to observe huge development projects occurring in communities as well. Speaking during the commissioning and official opening of the Kekes-Cunusa Road, His Majesty encouraged Maswati living in the communities that are closer to the road to come up with business ideas and development structures to match with the state-of-the-art road.
His Majesty King Mswati III has always been a pioneer for road infrastructure development for the provision of convenient and efficient mode of transportation for goods and services. This is an initiative by His Majesty towards contributing to the growth of the economy. Kekes-Cunusa Road is one of the projects that His Majesty commanded government to embark on. Following the end of this project, His Majesty blessed and officially opened the road. Also present during the event were the Makosigati to His Majesty, the royal family, the acting Prime Minister, chiefs, councils, and cabinet ministers. The construction of the road costs slightly above 640 million emalangeni, and it's about 42 kilometers. This road will promote economic activity within the areas, including connecting the country with the world through 3 border gates being Mahamba, Keke, and Cunusa. There is also a service road that is leading up to the Makopeleni Clinic. Funds for constructing have been sourced from the Public Service Pension Fund. His Majesty King Mswati III says it is always great to see such huge development projects coming closer to the people in rural areas instead of having such development in cities.
Bekunene siyasijabule nasibona imisebenzi ita kuleti gotsi ingabe seyibonakala iconcentrate esikhathini emkhathisini wamanzini mambabane nayibonakala ukuthi iphuma ithi chithisaka live lonke isho wona ukuthi nesive njoba bestikhalele sibayeni ngemisebenzi ngeinfrastructure ukuthi iphumele ebaleni ite siveni nayi ngemisebenzi selambe kwenu bekunene solo sidiqalo leti akusiko wegcina kusetawuqhutshekwa nemisebenzi lemiyendi kutosetshenzwa lemakhaya bekunene.
His Majesty also pointed out that more roads will be tarred in the country.
Bekunene le space le noma le momentum lesesibambile ingeke inciphe itawukhula kakhulu. Bekunene lapha nje nasimile lapha eBlowen emkhonto sibuka kunale branch lephinze ihambe kuleminye imiphakathi iziyophuma le eMangayane bayasho lo mgwaqo ukuthi nawo awusuko lomuhle kakhulu uvele wonakele kakhulu sive kasihambe kahle ema designs nako konke lasavele asabonakala ukuthi akahlanganiswe lo mgwaqo loyo utoze ukuthi usetshenzwe uhambe sewunjengalona nawo ube mnandi njengalona njoba sifuna live lonke libe mnandi ngemigwaqo ebekunene.
Upon presenting the road to the people, the king also gave them a mandate of coming up with business ideas and development.
Bekunene kwekusho ukuthi nangu ke umsebenzi sesiwuthule etandleni tenu lapha eshiselweni ukuthi senidawusebenzisa lo msebenzi walomgwaqo. Siyabona njoba lo mgwaqo sesemusha futhi yinzini ema distance. Siyakholwa ukuthi sive lapha sitawathatha emathuba ekuvula ema filling stations, avule ema complexes, shopping complexes nako konke kutokhuthala i-development yanze ibe nkulu ukuthi sitabe sibukile ukuthi sive lesitawuqhamukisa lawo maplan lawo siyawusekelwa ngetindlela tonke ngema-lease agreement nangokuthi bathole ama-consent lafanele batokwati ukuqala umsebenzi lapha eBekunene.
The acting Prime Minister, Senator Thulisi Ledlandla, said His Majesty's wise leadership has been noted in infrastructure development throughout the country.
Solo wavula iParliament awukase sewuphumule silo school. Nguwe uyofuna bosomabhizinisi ngalapha uthi asigijime sithi nkwe ugijime embili kodwa awusishiyi dlaluselo. Nyalo sithumile wathi umgwaqo lushona le lapho bonebantu bakho khona eTshendlovu ufuna ukuthi wendeke. Siyathi silo sikhulu ukuthi uma sihlangana netingcinamba ubese uyachamuka nelikhambi usiwede nakulo silo lelithite libhubesi lingabhodla ukuthi awendeke lo mgwaqo siyathi silo ukuthi utawendeka.
Speaking on behalf of local chiefs, Chief Skunusa expressed gratitude to His Majesty as moving from Gege to Mhlangano has been made easier through the road. The chief said it took about 2 hours to get to Mhlangano before. His Majesty's government is expected to commence on another huge project next year, June. Through financial assistance from the African Development Bank, government will start construction of another major road, which is Siphofaneni Maloma and Maloma Siphambanweni. On the news, I'm Polile Mazia at Gege.
His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Wasalamiso Dlamini is back in the country after a trip to the United States of America, where he represented His Majesty King Mswati III at the United Nations General Assembly. The Premier says in one of the meetings he attended, he was able to address heads of state and inform them about how the Tinkundla system of governance was instrumental in the fight against HIV and AIDS. He arrived through the King Mswati III International Airport on Tuesday.
Sicaleke thina ngokuthi singenele umhlangano lokuthiwa i-Summit of the Future, kusho ukuthi umhlangano lomukela ikusasa ukuthi umhlaba emave angaphila kanjani, into kufanele sithi iqaphele lapho khona nakhona sifike sayimelela iNgonyama lengiyona head of state umholi welive laKangwane sabeka ke sakhuluma inkulumo yelive lebe igcile kakhulu ekutheni kufuna ukuthi kube bede lo salela ngemuva ekusebenzeni kwethu sibambisane nokuthi ke inhlangano demave emhlaba dibambisane kakhulu kunakuqala disebenze ngalokufe dingakhethi mabala. Nakuyo i-Summit of the Future saphinde futhi sakhuluma ngokuthi dona leti inhlangano temhlaba letifana na UN dithingekile ukuthi dishintshe indlela letisebenta ngayo ngokuthi emave twathathe ngokulingana nokuthi iAfrika ingaphatheki ngalendlela ebeyiphatheka ngayo itolo. Siphinde sakhuluma ke saya emhlanganweni wa-UN8 lapho live laKangwane belimenyiwe khona ukuthi likhulume kanye nemave lambalwa lamanye ngenzaba ukuthi Eswatini ikulamave lambalwa la sasebenze kahle kakhulu kulwa negciwane le-HIV ize live likhona ku-Athena lo 95. Ngiyakholwa ukuthi siyadi kakhulu ngalowo msebenzi lo wendiwe live ehlangothini lwadoda empilo bambisane nayo iNature. Sibekile-ke inkulumo khona lapho. Inkulumo yelive beyigxile ekutheni lebe bakuqelile ukuthi sisho lokuthi umsebenzi lo sowendiwe noma i-achievement ingakanani yini lesende ukuthi safika khona la kuloko ikakhulu-ke lesikubalile thina ngibona lokubambana lokusebenzisana ukuthi kubambane uhulumende wabambisana nema-NGOs wabambisana ne-private sector wase ubambisana netikhulu sigcizelele-ke ekutheni lokunye lositile thina nginto letinkundla lokusebenzisa tinkundla ukuthi lokwatiseka noma lokufundzisa ngayo i-HIV kwehla kwale phansi baholi bakuthatha bakufaka le ngephansi kwamukeleka lase liyabhodla-ke nelibhubesi yathi indzaba yethu sonke le kwaba i-collective effort lenzaba yokulwa ne-HIV and AIDS wakhanzela ukuthi-ke vele uqonzana ngqo nale theme yalo mhlangano lokuthi vele kwaba indzaba yethu sonke i-HIV kwaphela nestigma kuze ukuthi abantu bakhone ukuthola i-treatment leyanele. Kwaba kuhle-ke sase sesiyenca sesingena emsebenzini wa-United Nations i-General Assembly lapho khona sibeke inkulumo yelive egameni laso silo seMaswati. Nakhona lapho inkulumo beyigxile ekutheni akubebede losalela ngemuva. Sibekile nje indzaba yokuthi nelive lase-Taiwan nalo nangabe sithi akubebede losalela ngemuva alibe ingcenye phela yetinhlangano telive temave emhlaba zafaka futhi ekuthini i-Security Council lokungiyona le-ofisi lelibukete kuphepha emhlabeni i-Afrika lenebantu laba-1.4 billion ayimeleleke kahle nakhona lapho kule Security Council lokungenani ibe nemave lamabili nemalunga lamabili lamelela e-Afrika kule Security Council yasemhlabeni wonke jikelele imelele emave ngekulingana nalamanye emave emhlaba.
The Minister of ICT, Senator Savannah Maziya, says it is important to pursue ICT initiatives designed to facilitate and accelerate social and economic development while also ensuring the security of the country's digital landscape. The Minister says that improving the country's cybersecurity posture is not just a necessity but an imperative. The Minister made these remarks during the launch of the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, where she was represented by Principal Secretary Pesheya Dube in Eswatini.
The theme for the 2024 Cybersecurity Awareness Month focuses on safety. The Ministry of ICT has officially launched the Awareness Month. The Minister of ICT, represented by the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, Pesheya Dube, says that there is a need to protect Emaswati while they use digital platforms.
The Eswatini government, under the great leadership of His Majesty King Mswati III, continues to pursue ICT initiatives aimed at facilitating and accelerating social and economic development, while also ensuring the security of our digital landscape. Protecting our own cyberspace and citizens contributes to protecting the world, because a weak link in one's jurisdiction could be a gateway that affects many countries. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility. As criminals continue to innovate and exploit technology to perpetuate illegal activities, we must equally innovate in our responses. I urge all citizens and business and institutions to actively engage in the activities planned for this Cyber Security Awareness Month. Together, we can enhance our collective cyber security awareness and resilience, ensuring that we safeguard the digital landscape of Eswatini and we empower Emaswati with the knowledge and skills to navigate the cyber space safely by adopting good cyber practice in their online activities.
The representative of the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Tepsile Nxumalo, stressed the importance of educating pupils and teachers about the Cyber Security Act.
Our students are exposed to vast opportunities, but there are also significant risks. Technology is here to stay, and we need technology, we need ICTs, but we are also cognizant of the fact that there are significant risks, and it is our responsibility, as adults and also even the children themselves, to ensure that, for us as adults, to ensure that our children are protected and they are educated about these challenges.
The Eswatini Communications Commission's executive, Mvilawempi Dlamini, urged parents to ensure their children are safe while using their phones. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni with Themba Shabangu, Ezulwini.
As the school leaving certificate examinations have begun across the country, the Eswatini Principals Association says schools have done the necessary arrangements to ensure a smooth takeoff, though there are some challenges regarding finances. Eswatini TV interviewed the president of Eswatini Principals Association, Welcome Mhlanga, on the progress of the examinations.
The exams have started, but on the administrative side of things, we can say there are challenges, serious challenges in our schools. I have received reports from principals across the country to say we are struggling, especially with the practicals last week. We know that practicals need money, and also we have challenges with electricity, with water, and these other utilities. We are not spared as schools. If you don't pay up, they come and disconnect or switch off. So that is what we've been experiencing, quite a number of us these days. We can only plead with the government to say, understanding that the grants have not been dispersed to schools. The schools need to be protected. Government can negotiate with the service providers on our behalf to say, let the schools be spared so that the students are not disturbed during this time.
The Eswatini Examinations Council Communications Officer Hlengwe Ndlovu says, as council, they do everything possible to ensure that examinations uphold the international standards as they are accredited by the Cambridge University Press and Assessment in the United Kingdom.
We encourage our candidates to display the best behavior because we may recall that the receipt examination eventually affected the entire 2023 cohort of candidates who had to retake the examination. This was an unfortunate episode in the history of examinations in Eswatini. So identification is very critical during the examinations because some candidates in some areas may take advantage of the absence of pins to actually manipulate the examination. However, this morning we realized that there was a substantial number of candidates who don't actually have the national ID cards. The Examinations Council of Eswatini then issued a circular to centers to allow candidates who are not in possession, who do not have the ID cards, to write the examination because the Examinations Council of Eswatini wants all our learners in the country to have access to the examinations.
Hlengwe Ndlovu further explained that council has issued a circular allowing candidates that do not have national ID cards to sit for this year's examination only, which means going forward, parents and guardians should help their children to acquire them before examinations time. On the issue of the non-disbursement of free primary education and OVC funds to schools, the Honorable Minister of Education
Owen Nxumalo clarified last week that different government ministries are working hard to ensure that the funds are released. Reporting, Mbongwa Dube, Smovashongwe, Babane.
And now let's have a look at our financial indicators.
Standard Bank.
Moving on to sports, with the new Women Football League 2024-2025 season around the corner, the Eswatini Women Football Association continues with different campaigns that aim at attracting sponsors by also displaying a reminder to all clubs that the new season is around the corner. The association held its first activation at Technical Centre at Lubamba this past weekend.
Ahead of the Women's League new season 2024-2025, Eswatini Women's Football Association continue with different programs that aim at promoting the league by also calling different sponsors to support the league in their numbers.
Women Football Association.
According to the Chief Operations Officer, Ntande Ngosi Hlatrago, she says some of the companies such as Instacash, Standard Bank and MTN continue to show their support towards women football. She says the event also was not only to call up on sponsorships, but a reminder to clubs that the new season is upon them.
Sinekukhola ukuthi emva kwalo msebenzi lesibe nawo lo muhle nakangaka namhlala ekhaya tinkampani titawubona bumgcoka bekusondzela eceleni kwelibhola lapho makhe.
There's a serious need for more women's football competitions in the country, which will also have a positive impact on the national team. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabisumsonera, Lubamba.
Newly elected Swimming Association President Pedro Nunes has promised to work with all executive members and different clubs under the association as a sign of togetherness, which will have a positive impact on the development of the sport in the country. Nunes says he will introduce an open-door policy to ensure that everyone gets his full support. Nunes was speaking after being elected as the Eswatini Swimming Association President this past weekend.
The biggest thing for me is about development of swimming in Swaziland, to get more kids involved, to promote the sport for kids in Swaziland to benefit from the sport as well. And yes, there has been issues which have been highlighted at our AGM, and I hope to work with the new executive team and resolve those issues, because the biggest one for me coming in is transparency for how we are going to handle swimming swimming in Swaziland. About 3 months for us to settle in, to call an extraordinary meeting to try and resolve some of the issues that we have seen la kulo mhlangano namuhla. Sikhulume tona leti ndzaba sitokhona kulungisa labakhale khona batali or my team managers, my team representatives. So I think in the next 3 months, because moving forward, we can't be coming back to the same issues, and we would like to focus on bettering the exec and bettering swimming in Swaziland.
That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our headlining stories. His Majesty King Mswati III says it is gratifying to see developmental projects occurring in communities. Honorable Prime Minister Walter Dlamini has returned from the United States of America, where he represented His Majesty King Mswati III at the UN General Assembly. Minister of ICT, Senator Savannah Mazia, says it is imperative to ensure the security of the country's digital landscape while pursuing initiatives that accelerate economic development. And it's a wrap. Up next is the weather update for myself and the team, and thanks for your company. Take care.
Sithasendlulisa ekudumisa uyomlisa uphuma uyangena wekunene nanini bofakazi uphumile waya ngaphandle